Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Thank you for listening. I am Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21.
And I'm Apollo Taj Mahal. And you are listening to the
Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. We appreciate all of the smart guys. Keep it up, whether it is on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram. It's all the same. DYSTSP. Put a little underscore in between there. Look for orange smiley face, poop in his eyes. That is us. You can also find us at didyousee-that-shit.com. If you want to get more personal, email me, Mike, at didyousee-that-shit.com, or give us a call, 708-669-4777.
Also, you can listen to the full podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, pretty much all your favorite podcasting platforms. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube at Missing Time Productions. And enjoy this interview.
We know you will. I want to welcome UFC lightweight Devin Powell to the show. What's going on, Devin?
Not too much. Yourself?
You know, hanging in there. So, Nostos MMA, man, that's your gym, right?
Yep, that's mine.
How did that all come together?
It is, it kind of means welcome home. I used to work at a passport center for like 7.5 years, and it's pretty much just a dead-end job that I hated, and I finally found an opportunity to take over an MMA gym, so we closed down their gym because it was kind of going under, and I renovated and made my own academy there, and I just called it Nostos MMA. I just thought it was fitting. I did a little research. It was based upon the soldiers coming home from the Trojan War, and they called it the Nostos. So
That's very cool, man. I like that you put a lot of thought into that, too. That shows that you are an intelligent dude. So did the catastrophic injury, did that happen at your gym or did that happen at Joe's gym?
that happened at Joe Lozon's gym.
Okay. And for people listening that may not have heard you tell your story on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, could you briefly, I'm sure you've told it 1,000 times, but can you briefly just kind of talk about the severe injury that you had?
Yeah, I was training with Joe each Monday. We usually drive up and do some no-gi jiu-jitsu and also some kickboxing with one of his other coaches. And I was rolling with him after we finished class, and he was trying to pass my guard, and his knee came up and straight down, and it ruptured my testicle. Pretty much just exploded the thing. And the contents on the inside spilled to the outside. And I tried to play it off and tell myself I was okay. And I went to a walk-in clinic, but because I have the UFC's accident or injury insurance, they didn't look at it like a normal insurance, and they shooed me out the door. So I waited a day and a half and finally got to another clinic because I didn't want to sit in pain anymore, and everybody had told me that I needed to be seen. So I listened, and they ultrasounded and just said that I ruptured it and that I needed emergency surgery. So that's what happened.
Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, man. That whole story is just, it's horrifying. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it was rough for sure.
You're an amazing man because you waited like 48 hours before. I mean, yeah, you tried to go, but they turned you away. But you really waited about 2 days until you had medical attention, right?
Yeah, it was Monday, probably right at like 11 a.m. that the injury happened, a little over a month ago now. And I went and checked it out, and it felt very messed up. And by that, because we were leaving and we were right next to a clinic that we would just stop and check it out. And when we went to do that, they shoot us away. So it went from me being looked at almost immediately after on Monday morning to me getting something to drink to kill the pain and trying to lay in bed for a full day. And then it was late at night on Tuesday whenever I had the surgery. So it was like a little over a day and a half.
Wow. Well, thank God it worked out, man. Thank God you're doing all right. Any word on a new fight yet?
Nothing right now. I've been trying to stay active, trying to keep my name out there, and this obviously brought it out there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm just getting back to training. I accepted a fight short notice with Evan Dunham, but he ended up picking a different fight that made more sense for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all I can do. If I get asked to take a fight, I just say yes. And I'm in a tough position because I lost 2 decisions. My last one was super close split decision, and it's not easy going 0-2 in the sport, especially in the UFC. You know, I've never lost 2 in a row, but I've also never lost anything but close decisions, except for my first UFC fight. I just kind of wasn't all there, and I lost unanimous. But yeah, it's tough. You know, there's so many UFC athletes. I'm working to get that next one, but it's just a waiting game, and trying to stay ready all the time is just it's kind of a nightmare, you know, because you never really have a resting period. The surgery itself was kind of the first time I get to rest my whole body in a while because I had to.
Yeah, right, and that's saying something, man. The first time you had a chance to rest was for a surgery. Yeah, you mentioned your first couple fights in the UFC. Your first fight was Drakkar Klose. We've seen what he's been able to do. I mean, he's an absolute he's a horror for anybody at 170, and then 170 or 155 rather. He used to fight at 170, and then Daryl Horcher. You mentioned a close split decision loss. So you're right there, man. You've had a rough go, but I think that you are definitely a UFC quality fighter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. I know that I can hang with those guys, and getting to go over and train with Joe now each week has really put a lot into perspective, and it's made me a lot more confident as well and understanding my belonging. And it's just a matter of getting that next one, going out and pulling the trigger more, you know, knowing exactly my place and getting the job done, getting my hand raised.
For sure. Going away from fighting here, I know that you're a fan of the ink, as am I. Have had a chance to get any new tattoos?
No, because I don't get paid to sit around, and now I have surgery bills. So I usually try and get tattooed right after fights because I obviously will have a little bit more money to do it. And also I know that if I fight, I'm not going to fight again in the next however many weeks, you know, or get a call at least to get a fight. So I hate getting tattooed, and then I'll never do it if I'm in a camp because it messes up your training, and I'm nervous to do it when I might get a call and I can't train. So I kind of like to just do it right after a fight. It's been like 8 or 9 months now. I don't even know. I think maybe even 9 months since my last one. My last fight was June. So yeah.
Well, hopefully you get another chance to fight and get another tattoo, hopefully sometime soon this year. I saw that you had, it looks like you were having a lot of fun the other day, a birthday party and a Nerf war, was that?
Yeah, at my academy I own, we just renovated the downstairs, so we doubled our space, and a kid that I teach there, he wanted to do a birthday party there and do a Nerf gun war, so we set it all up and did a giant Nerf gun war with all the kids, and they all just went nuts, sprinting around, jumping off stuff, and shooting each other. And then we brought them upstairs and played some games and a little bit of the mixed martial arts stuff for them all to see. So, yeah, that was a good time. It's always fun to do that at the academy and host these things for the kids.
For sure. Hey, let me ask you, man, real quick here. Who do you think is going to have a better mixed martial arts career, Dylan Dennis or Gary Tonin?
I'd say Tonin for sure.
Why is that?
I just actually, you know, honestly, I don't know enough about Dylan Dennis. I know a lot about Gary Tonin. He came down actually to the school that I got my black belt under a little bit before he caught fire big time, and he taught a seminar. And I just think I don't know, the way he moves, he's just unbelievable. And I think his jiu-jitsu is just he's gonna catch a lot of people. I didn't see his debut, but I heard that he didn't even really try and grapple with the dude. So win a fight standing up. I mean, if anybody he wants to, he can dive on their legs and tap them out. You know, you're not going to be able to stop Gary Tonin from submitting you if you're an MMA fighter. There's such a huge divide between MMA, jiu-jitsu, talent-wise, and, you know, a pure jiu-jitsu athlete. Like, there's very few of them, you know, that like the pure athletes, like most of us now start into everything all at once, but you got guys like Wonder Boy who's that with karate, and then Damian Maia with jiu-jitsu. Now that new, I think he's a light heavyweight, who's that crazy K1 kickboxer. I can't remember his name, but there's a few of them that are the elitists that are just so good at one thing, and that's Tonin, but he's clearly able to win fights on his feet. So I'm super excited about him, but I guess I sort of spoke out of line because I really don't know much about Dylan Dennis. I just know he's got great jiu-jitsu, and he trains with Connor, right?
Yeah, he's 22 and he trains with Connor. That's really all I know about him, too, to be honest with you. Not too much is known about him, but Gary Tonin, man, he's the real deal. Yeah, you mentioned that he finished his opponent in the round 2 via TKO. So he's going to be interesting to watch, see how he develops.
Yeah, and I think he's very marketable as well. Like, I think that if he was Connor's coach, he would be so much more famous than Dylan Dennis, because he's wild and he's super funny. Him and Gordon Ryan are just kind of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just, they're loud and they're just fun.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, man. I know that you are super busy, especially as of late. Real quick, man, if you could, we kind of have a tradition here. Could you just say this is Devin Powell and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit podcast?
This is Devin Powell and you're listening to the Did You See This Shit podcast.
I appreciate it.
All right, later.